Hello, my name is Liam Kiley and I'm a second year student on a BTEC National Diploma for IP Practitioners. One of my current courses at the moment is Unit 24, Digital Graphics and Computer Systems. We have been asked to create 3 images to a given specification for a scenario. This is my 3rd image and this is a letterhead for a computer repair business that is looking to have a more formal way of communicating with its clients. First, we're going to get started by opening Adobe Illustrator. We're then going to go on File, New. We're going to create our document by calling it Letterhead. We're going to make sure this set is to print. We're going to make sure we have A4 selected with a width of 210mm by 297mm. If you prefer to work in pixels, you can easily change it to here. You can. And we're going to make sure that our top, bottom, left and right bleed are set to 0 pixels. We're then going to press OK to open our new blank document. As you can see, we're greeted with a blank document. This is our canvas where we can start creating our image. My plan for this image is to have the company banner here, which we created in the previous tutorial, followed by the relevant contact details of the company, followed by a footer with an email address and telephone contact number. First, what we're going to do is import our letter header that we created previously called the web banner. This was created to be able to use for multiple use for the header, website and any other headed documents that the company is going to use for a later date. We're going to go open, navigate to our letterhead folder and simply select our website header. As you can see, we are greeted with the full scale of the image. We're ideally looking for this image to be placed here at the top of the image. As you can see, it is actually too big for the original size document. We're then going to decrease the size of this image to make it fit the given profile for the image. As you can see, we have now resized the image to fit the given section. At the moment, it does look that the image is pixelated. This is simply because of how we're using a screencast and the resolution of my monitor. When this is printed off as a document, it will be at a right resolution and it will not be pixelated. As you can see, the header nicely fits into the parameters of the document and is centered directly in the center. This will have a cool effect when it is followed by the letterhead. Now that we've got our header in place, we're now going to start to add a background image that will be blended into the background to create a water effect. We're simply going to go to File, Open, select our generic image here from a royalty-free source. As you can see, we're greeted with the image and it's opened in another template. We're simply going to press Ctrl A, select the image, Ctrl C, or alternatively, Edit, and copy. So now we're going to go back onto our original document. We're going to press Edit, Paste, or alternatively Ctrl B. This is then going to place the image into the document. We are then going to select our selection tool. We're then going to move the image around to the center. You want to find the green line on the page and you need to follow that down. That is ideally centered in the middle of the page. It is. Now that we've got this image selected, we're simply going to go over to our opacity setting here at the top. And we're simply going to turn the opacity down so it is blended into the background with a cool water effect. We don't want the image to be too current and fluent because it'll affect the quality when the document is printed and it will be seen above it. Ideally, I would say that is your best. Slightly increase it a bit is the best effect. It's simply on the background and it's not too heavy. I'm just going to save side, I'm just slightly going to reduce it down a tiny bit more. It's 22 and that looks perfect. It does. As you can see now, the background is starting to look a bit more effective, and we're going to add other features in now, such as the text. Adding text in Adobe Illustrator is very simple. You simply select your text tool over there in the sidebar, or you can press on your keyboard simply T. This will then bring up your text input field. Firstly, we're going to start by creating the company's details, so we're going to select anywhere on the canvas, and we're simply going to start entering the relevant details. I'm simply going to pause the video now, and once I've typed in all the details, I will assume that. Right, welcome back, and as you can see now I have successfully entered the text. We're simply now going to select our text, we're going to apply it to the right. Don't worry that it's moved over, we're simply going to lift the text up and drag it over to the area we want. We want it with a few pixels away from the actual side of the canvas, and ideally that would be the right area. We're going to then double click to select our text again. We're just going to highlight it. We're slightly going to increase the font by 14 to add a better effect. And I'm now simply going to choose a font to set alias Madrid Web Pro. Now with that we have got the main bulk of the actual letter created, we're simply going to add a footer which will be used to store the email address and the company contact number. We're going to deselect from our text tool by pressing our move tool. We are now going to go down to the bottom, select the relevant area. We are now going to go over to the shape tool, and we're going to choose, that's really my mistake, we're actually going to go into the line tool and choose align segment tool. We're going to come down to the bottom area of the document. We're going to start from the corner, ideally about 3 pixels up. We're going to hold down on shift, and we're going to simply draw a line across the bottom of the page, meeting the end of the A4 document. Now that we have our footer line placed at the bottom of the page, we're simply going to select our text tool again, which can either be done by pressing T on your keyboard or selecting the text feature from the sidebar on the left. We're now going to enter our cursor into the footer down below. We're simply going to enter the relevant contact details, and these will be as follows: 01782 045 455, followed by their company email address, which is rapidrepair@gmx.com. As you can see, the text is currently setting to the left. I'm going to correct this by centering the text to the middle, selecting our move tool and slightly rejigging it so to us it looks more in the centre of your eye line. Ideally I'd say slightly a bit more, and it's ideally in the centre of the image. As you can see that our image is starting to look a bit more effective now. Slight issue is we need to simply move the bottom line up so it is not and now the line is not touching the hat symbol. As you can see, our letterhead is now complete. It's used an effective tool such as decreasing opacity of images, using headers to create an effective layout, and using basic text input features. We're now going to save this image so it can be used for multiple tools. We're then going to click on File. We're then going to go down to Save for web and devices, or Save As. In this case we're going to click on Save As. It'll now bring our field up. We're going to save this image as an Adobe PDF. And we're also going to save it as a JPEG or a PGN file for use as an image. I apologise, my mistake. To save it as an image we don't want to click on Save As, we want to click on Export down here for the bottom. You then select your relevant image. In this case we're going to be saving it as JPEG. And we're simply going to click yes in this case. When creating something that's going to be used for a printed document, it's best to keep it as a high possible quality as you can. So we're going to increase this to a quality of 10 with a maximum setting, colour mode of RGB to keep the colour scale great, and we're simply going to press OK. Another option that you could also do is save it as for Microsoft Office. This is great when you want to use it inside another document as an image. I hope this tutorial has been helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at liam.kiley@nulccollege.ac.uk. Thank you.